What's happening, gang? It's your boy Retro back again with another reaction video. Yeah. Today we got more amazing news breaking for Trump. It just seems like all the cards have been falling in Trump's favor in his last couple of weeks. I just seem like every time I'm breaking a story, you guys, or breaking news, it just seems like it's great news for Trump. Whether it be, in his court cases, I feel like all of his, trumped up charade cases that he's been fighting his way through, the blatant weaponization of the Department of Justice system, he's been catching wins left and right, whether that be, appeals court overruling the court systems. In most cases, the gag order where they were trying to keep him from speaking. You can't gag a political opponent. Let's be real. And in the Fannie Willis case, I feel like a lot of, the co-defendants have been taking the plea deals, but Trump has still been safe. No information has leaked. No information has, been brought about that's going to connect or incriminate him in that case either. So it seems like he's been catching a lot of wins in his legal cases. And then on top of that, the polling is showing him ahead also. He's been running away with the race. Biden's numbers have been plummeting. He is not, no signs of, re-election near. And Trump is literally flipped the script on Biden, whereas in 2020 was nowhere near the same. I'm excited to check this one out and see exactly what the news is that Dr. Steve Turley has to break for us. So we're gonna hop straight into it, guys. Make sure you guys hit that like button for me before we even get into it, guys. Please hit that like button, guys. It don't cost you a thing. Also hit that subscribe button if you haven't done so already, guys. We're on the road to the truth. Hop aboard for the journey. Let's get into it, y'all.
Across to RCNN's senior data reporter Harry Enton about the biggest problem Mr. Biden is facing as he tries to win re-election.
It's age. Voters think he's too old. Is just too old to be an effective president. 70% of likely voters across these 6 battleground states say that Joe Biden is too old to be an effective president. Donald Trump, that number is 39%. If you look back at the 2020 numbers, Joe Biden's numbers didn't come anywhere close to approaching this. This, to me, is the big problem, and I'm just not particularly sure how you solve that problem if you're Joe Biden. Perhaps you go out and show that you can campaign. Perhaps you try and bring Donald Trump's numbers up a little bit.
Right. I mean,
but the
Trump's only 3 years younger.
Yeah, he's only 3 years younger. It's not like he's, this isn't a great difference. But
and guys, we got to keep in mind, this is a liberal mainstream media network like CNN bringing you guys these types of, information segments like, it's getting bad when the left is speaking that bad on the left.
Yeah, he's only 3 years younger. It's not like he's, this isn't a great difference. But the fact is, it's all about perception, Jim. It's not about the numbers in this particular case. It's about perception. And the perception is that voters believe that Joe Biden is just too old at this point.
This is probably going to lead to a lot of Democrats increasingly chatter that Joe Biden should step aside and make room for another Democrat.
And I think the problem that Democrats have is they don't know who that Democrat would be right now. I don't think that people look at Kamala Harris and feel like she is ready to take that step forward. They look across the rest of the party, governors, senators, mayors, House members, and they're struggling to figure out who they could put up if it's not Joe Biden. And so I think the reality is Democrats are probably going to run Joe Biden.
The New York Times, and they're right about it, says, in a remarkable sign of a gradual racial realignment between the two parties, the more diverse the swing state, the farther Mr. Biden was behind. And he led only in the whitest of 6.
But I will tell you, this is the first time, Jen, that I have felt like the 2024 election is in great trouble for the president and for our Democratic control, which is essential to moving forward.
They're panicking, gang. The Democrats are absolutely panicking as one of their own polls from the New York Times itself shows that President Trump is headed for a historic landslide. We're going to see the latest poll that shows Trump absolutely running away with this. We're going to see precisely what's causing him to surge and why things are only going to get worse for bumbling Biden. You're not going to want to miss this. Hey, gang, it's me, Dr. Steve, your Patriot Professor, here to help you think better so you can feel better in these crazy and turbulent times. So if you haven't already done so, you know what to do. Make sure to smack that bell and subscribe button. Also, if you would, please share this video with friends and family. We are once again being throttled by big tech, so I need your help to get the hopeful message of this channel out to as many people as possible. Things have just gone from bad to worse for bumbling Biden and the Democrats. The woke left-wing activists disguised as journalists at the New York Times are absolutely freaking out this morning as a brand new poll, their own, shows Trump absolutely running away with the election. Take a look at this. According to the New York Times poll, if the election were held today, Donald Trump would win over 300 electoral votes. Trump is currently leading nearly every swing state. He's plus 10 in Nevada, plus 6 in Georgia, plus 5 in Michigan, plus 5 in Arizona, plus 4 in Pennsylvania. The only state he's behind in, according to the poll, is Wisconsin. Trump is behind by 2. The problem with that is that Wisconsin is notoriously difficult to poll. Senator Ron Johnson, for example, he was consistently behind in all the polls prior to 2022 midterms. He went on to win re-election handily. So if Trump is crushing it in all of these other battleground states, he's most likely going to be crushing it in Wisconsin as well. By contrast, 1 year out from the election, Biden's approval rating is currently the lowest of any president since Jimmy Carter. Wow. He's sitting at a 37% approval. He's literally politically imploding, all the while Trump is surging.
Wait, what did Jimmy Carter do?
He's surging with voters that the ultra-libs over at the New York Times never imagined would even consider voting for Trump. But it's happening. Here's the data according to the Times. Quote, voters under 30 favor Mr. Biden by only a single percentage point. Keep in mind, this is a group that voted for Biden by 65 points in 2020. His lead among Hispanic voters is down to single digits, and his advantage in urban areas is half of Mr. Trump's edge in rural regions. And while women still favored Mr. Biden, men preferred Mr. Trump by twice as large a margin, reversing the gender advantage that had fueled so many Democratic gains in recent years. Black voters, long a bulwark for Democrats and for Mr. Biden, are now registering 22% support in these states for Mr. Trump, a level unseen in presidential politics for a Republican in modern times. Now, that comment by the New York Times corroborates what the Washington Post recently came out and admitted, that Trump is seeing levels of minority support no Republican has reached in half a century. They found that across 5 high-quality polls over the course of a month, Trump averaged an astonishing 20% support among black voters and an unprecedented 42% support among Latino voters. All 5 of these polls came to the same conclusion. They're all corroborating the fact that Trump has amassed support among minority voters that no Republican has seen in half a century. And many are arguing that it's largely due to the backlash against this weaponized legalism that the Democrats have unleashed against Trump. You know, that mugshot, we say it over and over again, that freaking glorious, awesome, amazing mugshot is
so
the GOAT.
money.
It's the greatest of all time because it made Trump officially gangsta. He's now one of us.
Is that what
Voters
he
who
did?
have consistently voted Democrat are now voting Trump almost solely based on the fact that that image made him one of them. But it's not just that. According to the Times' own poll, you heard it earlier, over 70% of voters just think Biden's too old to be president. He's just too old, and he ain't getting any younger. And we all see it. He's stumbling. He's stuttering. He can't put a coherent sentence together. He can't find his way off stage. I mean, there's just no hiding it anymore. And now it's so bad, it's so obvious that he's beyond repair that Barack Obama's former advisor, David Axelrod, is openly calling on Biden to drop out of the race. It's over.
Oh, my
If Biden's the
goodness.
nominee, according to Axelrod, if Biden's the nominee, the Democrats are going to get crushed in November. Crushed. Trump's going to sweep all the swing states and win over 300 electoral votes. And then he's going to have a decisive mandate to fundamentally transform the nation to an ultra-MAGA super state. And on top of all that, he's going to go full animal on all of these Democrats who weaponize the legal system against him and his family and his businesses. He's going to win the presidency in a landslide, and then he's going to round them all up. And then he's going to unleash retribution against them like never before, and they're panicking. Biden's downfall is their downfall. And if you're a Democrat, things right now are looking pretty grim indeed.
Yo, there we have it, guys. Coming from Dr. Steve Turley. A big shouts to him. Always bringing us this, great information, great stories. Always breaking great stories for us to kind of dissect and just figure out what's going on in the world. And I'm definitely gonna leave the original link down in the description box for y'all, man. It just really blows my mind that these liberal mainstream media networks are just now catching on, and like the amount of panic that is setting in, as we've seen in the first couple clips, with CNN, ABC, MSNBC, going, kind of losing their stuff about, these polls, and they're saying that, there's no way that that Biden could be reelected. He's just way too old. Everything that he's been showing us has just led us to believe that he is not capable to, serve America like we deserve. We deserve a president that is capable of, making his citizens comfortable, putting America first, and actually doing so. I feel like Joe isn't really doing much of anything. Like we've seen most of his presidency, he's been on a beach vacationing, especially in those crucial times where he's really been needed. When the Maui wildfires were going on, where was Joe at? Joe was on the beach half the time. He couldn't comment on what was going on because he was trying to get back to the beach. We couldn't really get much aid or assistance. It just seems like Joe's been absent this whole time. And that's why he's having so much trouble with this, the re-election and his polling. I'm not sure why, the liberal mainstream media networks are just now catching on, but that's what's going on, man. Joe's failed the people, and now that, it's time for the people to, back Joe up, Joe thinks he's going to, get the support, but he hasn't backed the people up. So, I mean, it's just not going to happen. It's not possible. You guys let me know your thoughts, as always, down in the comment section below. Also, make sure you guys smash that like button for me. Hit that subscribe button, guys. We're on the road to the truth. Hop aboard for the journey. I'll catch you guys on the next week. Go.